Hello, welcome. Today I'm going to show you how I tied up this really cute little kid's pullover. So I'm starting here from the top shoulder area. I'm going to wrap it with sinew. You can see I kind of bunched it up. Wrap it around 5 or 6 times and then grab your sinew puller. For this puller I'm just using a little pipe. Whatever helps get you a little bit of leverage, because you're going to want to pull it really tight until you feel a little bit of a tug. And then you're going to continue on this way. I like to do about 3 to 5 of these, and then I start on a new nodule. So here it's going a little bit faster now. I picked up the speed of this just a little bit so you could see it a little bit quicker. And so yeah, for this one I'm doing 4 nodules in this one so far. One thing too I like to do is I like to scrunch it so that the edges aren't just like concentric circles, but they have a little bit of a edge to them. So that's what happens when you scrunch it up a little bit as opposed to just doing a smooth transition. I hope that makes sense. I have lots of Geode examples in my library. So if you go to my channel and you just type Geode, that will pull it up. But I also have a playlist of all of my geodes. So if this one's not making sense, maybe another one, a different angle, a different shirt, maybe that will help make a little bit more sense. Here I'm starting a new node on the sleeve. I just kind of play around with it, try to figure out a place where it might look kind of cool. I try really hard not to do them like right on the belly, because that kind of accentuates people's belly. So I try not to do that. I try to keep them away from like the chest area. Other than that, it's kind of free reign. I mean, you can do that if you want. That's just kind of what I've learned. People, when they want to buy the shirt, they don't really like to have a big concentric circle right on their chest. You know, people are different. Anyway, enjoy this. I'll come back at the next step. Alright, so the first color I used is Tangerine, one of my favorites. But first I'm going to put the ice on it. So what I've got going on here is I've got a plate, or not a plate, it's like a cake pan, and then I put a cookie rack over the cake pan so the ice will melt and it won't sit in the excess dye. You might have heard that be called racked, so this is a racked dye. And then I put magic tracks around the outside just to kind of hold the ice in place. Those magic tracks are just kids' toys. Alright, so I use the color Marine, which is a really pretty, very, very dark teal color. This color is from Prochem dyes. I really like their dyes a lot because the consistency of them is not clumpy at all. It's very smooth. Dharma, sometimes they've got some clumpier dyes, but they have a wider variety. So I mostly use Dharma dyes, but every now and then Prochem has a cool color that comes out. Another thing too, if you're looking at different Prochem dyes and you can't decide where to get them, I suggest looking at which distributor is closest to you, because shipping is like half the cost on a lot of these things. A lot of people don't order from Dharma on the East Coast because they are a West Coast company and it costs just as much for the dye to ship it. So I like Dharma because I'm closer to Dharma. But anyway, all right, so I flipped it over and I'm just adding a little bit more dye because, as you can see, the color didn't go all the way through. I don't always do this, especially with t-shirts. The color usually goes all the way through if you just add more ice. But with these pullovers, they're pretty dang dense, so a lot of times I do need to flip them over. If you're doing like a TDS or like a flowy dye, you can't really flip them over. I just suggest adding more dye and more ice and just keep checking the bottom to see if the color will go through. With these geodes, it's a little bit easier because you can actually flip them. But there's my tip and trick for you today. All right, then I'm gonna add more ice. Somebody asked me once if there's a reason why I did the dye under the ice on this side versus the dye over the ice on the other side. No, it was mostly just because I just was kind of messing around, and there's no rules, right? So I just kind of did what came naturally to me, but the effects would have been similar. The Tangerine would have just split more if I had put the dye on the ice, but it'll still look cool. All right, so here I am untying this geode. I like to tie my nodes in one continuous string as opposed to cutting them between each little section. That's what I used to do, but I don't do that anymore because it just makes this process of untying so much easier. Sometimes my sinew gets stuck and I pull out my scissors, but I don't suggest doing that often, only if you can really get it stuck or can't get it unstuck. You can see I'm really struggling with that one there. Oh, this looks so cool. Doesn't that look cool? This washout was really fun. I love the washout process because you get to see what you did. All right, so there I'm just getting those racks out of the way and washing this in cool water. And then I put it in a hot pot of water with some Dawn dish soap and just kind of agitated it there a little bit and let it soak for a minute. Or by a minute, I mean like an hour or two. And then I washed it in my washing machine on a hot cycle. And that is the final result. So anyway, this turned out really cool. I hope you like it. Please comment if you have any questions or ideas for future videos. I'd love to chat. We'll talk to you soon.